Yeah, man!
Hello, my name is Miguel, and today I'm gonna make for you codfish, cauliflower, tomato stew. Alright, so you're gonna need a cauliflower, about a crown of cauliflower or crown and a half, a stalk of scallion, which is optional, 3 garlic cloves, an onion, medium-sized onion, 3 medium-sized tomatoes, basil, a tablespoon of dried basil or fresh, parsley, a tablespoon of dried parsley or fresh, ketchup, we're not going to use any ketchup, oil, about quarter cup of coconut oil, tablespoon of distilled white vinegar, and quarter teaspoon of pimento berries, which is optional. And you're going to need about half cup of water or less. Half Scotch bonnet pepper or any pepper is good. You're going to need half pound to a pound of codfish, salted fish or saltfish. I'm going to start by preparing the codfish. You can prepare the codfish by rinsing it off properly, wash off the salt, then boil it and strip off the scale, or you can do it my way. Visit JamaicanDinners.com for the recipe. Alright, these are several cuts of codfish. I'm just looking for the piece I want to use. This is how I like to prepare the codfish before I cook it. I like to strip off the skin from the codfish. So what I do is use a knife in my right hand and kind of use my left fingers and kind of get between the flesh of the fish and the skin and kind of peel off the codfish's skin. Do as you see me doing and remove the codfish's skin. If you don't want to do it this way, wash it off properly, kind of squeeze it, get off the excess salt, and then boil it. And then after boil and cool, you then look at that, it's stripping off even the skin off the scale, the fin. It's stripping the skin off the fins. Alright, after boiled and cooled, you just use a knife like this and kind of scrape off the skin or scrape off the alright, so this is the idea. Now get a sharp knife and cut the fin of the codfish. Alright, so I like to do it this way because it's that way you won't get any scale in the food. When you do it this way, to me it's much more cleaner to work with. Alright, so do as you see me doing and rinse off excess salt. Do this under running water and just rinse it off properly. You gotta do this like 2 times or so. You gotta spend some time and rinse it. And then kind of gently squeeze. Just squeeze off the excess water. That remove more salt. This part is important because if you don't, the meal might be salty. The meal might get salty. Now, put to heat a big enough saucepan. Add water. Add codfish. Use the pan's lid and leave it slightly halfway open. Put the stove gauge on 4 and just allow it to boil for about 5 minutes. Tenderizing the codfish. Next, I'm going to prepare our vegetables and herbs. The ingredients we're going to add to our codfish cauliflower tomato stew. So measure and add on a bowl or a container or anything 1/4 teaspoon of pimento berries, which is optional, a tablespoon of dried parsley, and a tablespoon of dried basil. You can use any of these herbs fresh. Just chop it fine. Garlic cloves. Peel leaves off and cut off ends. Trim off any spoilage that you might see in the garlic. Onion, remove the brown leaf. Remember, the first layer of the onion is the strongest, so just remove the brown leaf. The only way you remove the first layer unless it's spoiling, like it's spoiling. Scallion, which is optional. You don't have to use scallion. If it's not available in your region, it's optional. Do as you see me doing. Remove dying leaves and cut off ends. Cut off the tip of the dying leaf. Cut off the tip of the leaf that's dying. Alright, so now rinse the garlic and the scallion under running water. After that, dice scallion. If you don't like to see all these vegetables in your stew like I do, you can not slice, you can dice the onion fine if that's what you want to do. With this meal it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Alright, so once you dice the onion and the scallion, put them in a container and keep them separated. Keep them separate. Keep it separate. The garlic clove, grind garlic cloves to puree. Or pulp. This is the idea. So put your vegetables aside for later. Cover the onion so that you keep the fumes contained. Now I'm going to prepare our cauliflower for cooking. Alright, as you can see, this is probably a quarter cut of a very big crown of cauliflower. I guess they weren't selling the big one, so they just cut it up, put it in a container so it's sellable. Alright, so do as you see me doing. On this piece of crown, this piece of cauliflower crown, there are cauliflower florets. Alright, this is the codfish. It's been 5 minutes. Turn the stove off. Probably can let it sit in the water for a minute or two. but the idea is to remove it and allow it to cool. Alright, back to our cauliflower. Back to this. As I was saying, yeah, the florets. Remove, you can pop them off if you want, but it's just cut to be neat. Just cut the little florets off. And while you're cutting the florets off, look to see if you see any insect or any spoilage and remove that as well. This says cauliflower local. I was drawn aback when it says local. I said cauliflower local. Interesting. I didn't know that it can grow out here. I guess it can grow anywhere, but I'm not sure. To be honest, I didn't know that it grows out here. As well as broccoli, but they do, I guess, somewhere. I'm not sure, but it says local. So local means it was grown on the island. All right, so now the tomato. Kind of wash the tomatoes. Wash the tomatoes in water. Add some water in a bowl. Add some couple drops of white vinegar, distilled white vinegar, and kind of use your hands and rub the skin of the tomato properly, cleaning it. After that, rinse them with fresh running water and put them aside for later. Next, remove that water and add some fresh water to the bowl. Add your florets, your cauliflower florets. Add a tablespoon or couple drops of white vinegar, and then do as you see me doing. Use your hand with your fingers and kind of wash the cauliflower florets properly. After that, rinse it off with fresh water, fresh running water. I'm just using this saucepan to demonstrate, but you do it on your faucet or your pipe, your kitchen pipe. A faucet, right? Faucet. Alright, so now put them in a bowl. Put your prepared, cleaned cauliflower in a bowl for later. Put them aside for later. The tomato now, cut stem off. And then cut the tomato in quarters, and then cut each quarter piece in half. So in other words, you're going to cut the tomato in 1/8. I think that's it. 1/8. And while you're cutting, look to see if you see any spoilage. Sometimes there might be a couple of insects or whatever. Sometimes some little black things, brown little things, they're spoiling. The seeds are spoiling, so they tend to spoil sometimes, so you gotta watch out for that. So cut your tomatoes in 1/8. First you cut it in a quarters, and then you cut the quarter pieces in half, giving you 1/8. I don't know if I know what I'm saying, so I don't know if it makes sense to you. Alright, now this is our codfish. Boiled it for 5 minutes. Now we have to allow it to cool because it's just too hot to handle. Alright, so just put it in a bowl and allow it to cool. Allow the codfish to cool. Alright, after cooling, remove debone codfish. It's easy, just go through the codfish and just use your finger and feel for bones. You don't want to break up the codfish too much. Okay, you still want little chunks, so don't break it up. Usually when you're gonna fry it, it's probably gonna break up some more, so leave the breaking up to while you're cooking. While you're stir frying, it's gonna break up some, so just remove, go through carefully, contentedly, and remove the bone from the codfish. Alright, so that's the idea. Alright, put it aside for later. Oh, Scotch bonnet pepper. If you don't have access to Scotch bonnet pepper, you can always use red pepper. Any pepper is fine. I have Scotch bonnet pepper. Put to heat. Medium sized saucepan. Put the stove gauge on 4, medium low. Just allow the saucepan to dry out if it's not dry. Just for a minute or so. After a minute, and no water is in the saucepan, add 1/4 cup or half of it to the saucepan. 1/4 cup of coconut oil, cooking oil. I use coconut oil. You can probably use olive oil or whatever oil you're accustomed to. Whatever oil you're accustomed using. Alright, so next few seconds, let's say about 15 seconds, allow the oil to get hot somewhat, and then add your codfish, your prepared codfish chunks. Let it stay and fry on one side for about a minute or 2. After a minute, between 2, kind of gently flip or kind of stir in the codfish. Kind of flip it on the other side. Immediately add the onions and shuffle the onions to the bottom of the saucepan and allow. After a minute, add your chopped scallion. And kind of stir fry it in and shuffle it to the bottom of the saucepan as well. Allow it to caramel, break up the nutrients, or wake up the nutrients in the vegetables. Minute after, add the garlic. Stir it in. Stove gauge is on 4, medium low, all this time. A few seconds after, say about 8 seconds after, add your chopped tomatoes. Use your cooking spoon and stir in your pot. Stir in your pot, kind of wake up all the flavors in your stew before we dose it with some water. Alright, next add your prepared cauliflower florets. Right after, add the herbs The salt is already in the salted fish or codfish, so we're not adding any salt to this meal. Now use your wooden spoon and stir in ingredients. And then fold and lift. Fold and lift. Fold and lift. Just be careful, you don't want to mess your stove up nor mess the whole thing up, so do it gently. After that, add a Scotch bonnet pepper. Keep the pepper on top. Peppers for flavoring. Now add half cup of water, but a little bit less than half cup. Just keep back some of the water in the cup. Use the pan's lid and cover the pan properly and allow. The stove gauge is on 4, allow. Just remember, add a tablespoon of white vinegar. The riper the tomato, the better. Make sure you get really ripe tomatoes. Yeah, this is our codfish cauliflower tomato stew brewing away. 5 minutes later, cauliflower don't need much cooking. Remove the pepper because you don't want it to mash out in the stew and make it spicier than you want it to be. See how the tomato is making a nice little tomato stew? It's gonna flavor this codfish cauliflower tomato stew lovely. I was gonna add ketchup, but when I saw that, I just say forget about the ketchup because the vinegar and the tomato together gives a nice flavor, nice tomato sauce flavor. Alright, so that's the idea. Turn it off, it's finished. Just cover the saucepan until serving. It's best served within 15 minutes after cooking. That way cauliflower and all that nutrients in the you benefit from all that nutrients in the vegetable or the stew. It won't die out quick from the heat or lose its potency. Alright, take a scoop of this lovely looking, interesting looking codfish cauliflower tomato stew. I'm just pouring some more of this sauce, this nice tomato sauce. Codfish cauliflower tomato stew. Visit JamaicanDinners.com for the recipe. Subscribe, like, and share. You must try cooking this meal yourself and give us feedback. Our time now. I like to taste my gravy first before I start eating anything else. See how it, how the flavor is. It's there. It's tangy, delicious. So let me give it thumbs up right away. I was gonna say you can use any fish, but I'm gonna do one with regular fish and show you it. Surprisingly, this codfish cauliflower tomato stew is tasting great, flavorful and delicious right now. I am not tasting the cauliflower. Children would love, kids would love this meal. The tomato goes well with the cauliflower, and the herbs mixture blends lovely with the cauliflower tomato, with the codfish cauliflower tomato stew. The vinegar goes well with the tomato. No ketchup needed. I could let this pepper stay in a little bit longer. It could have been a little bit more spicier. Like, the spiciness in this meal is like really mild. I'm not tasting no spice whatsoever. Codfish, cauliflower, tomato stew would be great for dinner or Jamaican breakfast or English breakfast. Or English people eat like us. Codfish, cauliflower, tomato stew eats great, eats good with rice, as you see me eating with. Or you can have it with vegetables, probably delicious with a salad. Salad. You can eat codfish, cauliflower, tomato stew with by itself or with crackers. Until next, later. Until next time, later. Yeah, man!